Hello everyone, welcome back to Nate the Hoof Guy. If you watched my last video, you saw we had a white line lesion we had to take care of that had some dermatitis on it. Today's video, we are on a completely different farm, but we have got a very similar situation. But that's okay, because each one of these is different. But before we get into this, we are going to address these babies right here. Dew claws. Do I trim dew claws? And the answer is yes. If they get really long, they have problems on them, or in this case, if we have a lot of residue on them, I will clean that off just to make the cow more comfortable. But in general, I don't mess with dew claws too much. They really don't serve a purpose on modern dairy farms anymore. They were used for, well, speculated anyway, that they were used for to help with breeding or to help cows from get their feet getting too stuck in mud, or to help them accelerate when running. None of those things apply to dairy cows today. So I don't really deal with them. They don't get too long for the most part, so I don't have to deal with them too much. But like I said, if they become problematic, or if they get a lot of residue like this one, I'll clean them up just to make her more comfortable. So now let's get started on this white line lesion. Now, like I said, if you watched our last video, you saw a white line lesion with dermatitis on it. This one's going to be similar. And as far as lesions go for me, the most common ones I see are white line lesions and digital dermatitis. We just happen to have both of them combined on these two videos. How prevalent or how common are these things? Well, if you take a normal day for me, I might trim 40 or 50 cows, and I might see one or two white lines in a day. Some days I won't see any. Other days I might see 3 or 4, depending on the time of year. We're getting into that time of year, late summer, where we'll tend to see more of them. And you see more of them on sand farms, which is what this one happens to be, actually, and the last one as well. So when it comes to that, what we're dealing with here is you can see that crack starting to form, and we're going to have to open that up. That bacteria is able to penetrate that and get underneath, and it needs prefers a anaerobic environment, and that's what happens when you get underneath these soils like this. The bacteria is allowed to flourish, and even though they run foot baths, that product that helps kill that bacteria can't get underneath there. As we swing in here, you can see that defect in that white line, which has allowed that bacteria access to that soil underneath. As I was filming this, I wasn't paying attention, and my SD card on my camera got full. Luckily, I caught it in time, but I missed some of that very valuable knife work that you guys, I know, enjoy. But caught it in time, and there's still plenty left. I bring out the grinder here once I can see my margins, just to thin out that wall a little bit to make it easier to do my knife work. goal of this knife work here is to remove all of the loose little bits from around that lesion itself, to get it all exposed so that the product that I use to kill that dermatitis can get to that lesion and that the loose bits don't irritate it. The problem with dermatitis is it inflames that tissue, so it's kind of tricky to work around. So just as I treated that last case, I'm going to get this rubber block glued to this other claw. It's going to allow that injured claw some relief from the ground to keep that lesion from becoming irritated, and it'll allow my treatment to penetrate that lesion and to kill the bacteria that cause it. Here you can really see what those lesions look like. There's some ridges around the edge of this. That is not loose horn. That is actually new soft horn formation. That's still attached, so I don't want to remove that. I've got that lesion though opened up, so now I can get that salicylic acid powder on there to, number one, kill the bacteria that cause that lesion, and two, it's going to help reduce inflammation and reduce pain in that foot to help her heal more comfortably. Another common question I get is, why do I use powder and not some form of a paste for this? The reason for that is I don't want to dilute this powder down at all. It's mild enough as it is that diluting it, I think, would create less successful outcomes. So I like to use the pure form. That way I know that I'm getting the best quality product on that lesion that I can. All right, guys, that's a wrap for today. As always, thanks for watching. We will see you all on the next one.